Hello, and welcome to Health Studies of Dangerous Drugs. I'd like to take a few minutes this week to go through some basics about our class and the time that we'll spend together, and you'll also get a sense through this of how our virtual lectures will work this semester. My name is Sheila Clark. I'm your professor for this class this semester. I've got my contact information, my email, and my mobile number. You can please feel free to text me if you have questions over the course of the semester, or even give me a call. I'd be happy to help you out any way I can. For those of you who are located on campus, you can find my office at BHS 354. That's the Bigelow Health Sciences building. And my office hours are Monday and Wednesday, 1 to 3:30. I also make specific appointments for students who aren't available during those time frames, so please feel free to reach out if those times don't work for you. And I'm also very open to video chat or any other kind of method that would help, so I can make sure I get your questions answered. In terms of my response time to you, I do my best to return all calls or emails within 24 hours, although typically not on weekends when I do try to have a life. One of the first things I'm going to ask you to do this semester is to introduce yourself to your classmates. So I thought it would only be fair if I introduced myself to you. I thought I'd tell you a little bit more about me and who I am. Anytime I talk about who I am, the things that are important to me, I really have to start with family. It is the most important thing in my life, and the reason why I do almost everything that I do. This is a picture of some of my extended family. My husband of 22 years and my two teenagers are also in this picture. And really, those smiling faces explain to me, at least, a lot of why I do the things I do. These are my dogs. Boogie's on the left, and Sniff is on the right. As I mentioned, I do have two teenagers, so often these guys are my favorite members of my family. They're pretty spoiled. We walk a lot. In general, they make my life pretty great. Water. If I ever disappear in the middle of a semester and nobody knows where I am, it's because I found a cheap way to go live on water somewhere and I've moved. This is a lake in upstate New York where I was fortunate enough to spend time with some family recently. A picture taken by my son, who's turned out to be a pretty talented photographer here in his high school years, and really just speaks to my soul, makes me really, really happy. Las Vegas, man, our crazy town. We moved out here from the East Coast for 2 years in 2000. Obviously, those 2 years have lasted a little bit longer than we thought. Both my kids are born and raised here, and this city has been really, really good to me and my family in lots of ways. And then finally, this is a teaching award that I got last year. 2 years ago now. And I bring this up not because of the award itself, although I was really, really excited to receive it, but mostly because I want to talk about teaching itself. I have, I think, the best job in the world. I love what I do. I love to teach. I love public health. So it's really a great set of circumstances for me. But in order for me to do a good job at teaching, I'm constantly working on things about my in-person classes, my online classes, really trying to get better at this profession that's so important to me. So along the course of the semester, if there's things that aren't working for you, things that maybe are working really well for you and you'd like me to know about them, please feel free to reach out. I'd really appreciate your feedback on the class and the ways that I teach it. And I'll reach out definitely towards the end of the semester for some more specific feedback about how the course worked for you. Okay, in terms of other things that we'll talk about today, I want to spend a little bit of time on the syllabus. I am going to count on the fact that you will read that and understand the content, so we won't read through the whole thing, just hit some highlights. We'll talk a little bit about technology needs, specifically because this is an online class. The SMART textbook that we use, McGraw-Hill Connect's LearnSmart, and then we'll just walk through what a typical week will look like for our online class. Obviously, in terms of the syllabus, I do hold you accountable for knowing what's in there. I do consider it a contract between me and you, so if you have any questions about how the semester will work, please reach out early and ask those questions so that I can get those settled for you. A couple of important policies that I want to pull out. First of all, extra credit. I don't really typically offer any extra credit. In my experience, students who do it don't need it, and students who need it don't do it. So it's not something that I do typically offer. In terms of late work, I do not accept work after the due date. If you don't get your work in on time, then you won't receive any credit for that assignment. It keeps me from, the sort of sliding scale things where you lose like 10% a day, or, trying to establish something like that. But I do realize that your lives are busy and sometimes that your life can interfere with your schoolwork. So I do have a late pass policy. And basically, this system gives you an automatic 4-day extension when you need some extra time to complete an assignment. You do have a limited number of those over the course of the semester. Please be sure to read that section of the syllabus carefully so that you know how that works when you need it. And then finally, academic integrity. I am a fellow Rebel. I did all of my graduate work here at UNLV, and the quality of your degree reflects directly on the quality of my degree. As such, academic integrity is really important to me. All of the written work for this class will be submitted through Turnitin, and I do expect that anything that you submit is your own work, from discussion questions to papers to the tests that you'll take over the course of the semester. Again, those are just the highlights. Please take a couple of minutes during this first week of class to read through that syllabus carefully and understand my policies and procedures. In terms of where the points are coming from over the course of the class, here in the first week I will ask you to post an introduction to me and to your group mates. That'll be worth 5 points. You'll also have LearnSmart assignments that are required over the course of the semester. We'll talk a bit about more of those in a minute. 9 weeks during the course of the semester, you'll have to respond to a discussion question online for a total of 90 points, 10 points each question. You'll have 3 additional papers outside written assignments. Those are worth 60 points altogether. And then 3 25-point exams, 75 points there, for a total of 320 points. If you are enrolled in the graduate section of the class, HED 635, then there'll be an additional paper, and you'll be getting more information from me as that assignment gets closer. Moving on to technology needs. In order to successfully complete the class, you've got to have a couple of technology issues settled here in the first week of class. You'll definitely need access to Web Campus, which you probably have because you're listening to this right now. And you'll also need access to audio for our recorded or virtual lectures like this one. You'll also need access to McGraw-Hill Connect. This is the platform that our Smart Textbook is located on. And there's some more information on Web Campus about how to connect to that specifically. And then I also want to make sure to talk about Canvas announcements. I know from experience teaching this class over multiple semesters that it's important to get the schedule set in the first couple of weeks to really get a handle on what the due dates are and get yourself organized so that you are able to be successful here in class. Accordingly, I will do a lot of announcements over the first couple of weeks to make sure that you know when those deadlines are. You need to check your Canvas settings to make sure that you're getting those announcements someplace that's useful for you, whether it's your email or getting it straight to text messages. If you have any questions about how to do that, please reach out to the help desk, 895-0777, and they can help you to get that set up in a way that it's useful for you. In terms of that LearnSmart, the McGraw-Hill Connect platform, this is how one of the main parts of our classwork here. This is the Smart Textbook platform that McGraw-Hill offers. You'll need an online access code for this. Frankly, the easiest thing to do is to buy it the first time that you access Connect through Web Campus. That will make sure that both your accounts are connected. Each week you'll need to complete 1 or 2 modules. These are each worth 5 points. In terms of what actually has to be done, when you open the chapter on the Connect platform, you're going to look for the practice questions. This is typically a button in the lower left-hand corner. You click practice, it brings up some questions, you answer those. Once they're done, your 5 points should automatically transfer over to Web Campus. If you have any trouble getting connected, please read through the directions that are on the week one folder on Web Campus, and you can also contact McGraw-Hill Technical Support at the number listed on the slide. In terms of technology issues, this is an online class. At some point over the course of the semester, we'll have some kind of problem with one of our platforms. They happen every single time. If you experience this, if you're trying to submit your work and it won't go through, or you've done your work in Connect and it's not transferring over to Web Campus, please reach out to me as soon as possible, especially if it's going to cause you to miss a deadline. As I mentioned, I don't accept late work, so if you're having trouble, please let me know before the work is due, and that way I'll have some more flexibility in the ways that I can help you out. And definitely make sure that you're reaching out to the appropriate tech support staff, whether it's McGraw-Hill at their contact number or our own help desk here at UNLV. I do pretty well with technology, but I'm not going to be able to help you solve these problems. It's something you're going to have to reach out to an expert for. I wanted to take a minute to walk through a typical week here in class. Almost all the weeks, except for the ones when you have an exam, you'll have some assigned reading to do, typically a chapter or 2 a week. You'll also have to complete the Learn Smart modules, one or two that are coordinate with those chapters, and those will be due by Sunday at midnight. So we start a new week on Monday. The content is due on Sunday. Most times they're available for a week or two before the due date, so if you know you have a busy week coming and you'd like to work ahead, you should be able to do that. You'll complete those by, again, selecting that practice button and answering those practice questions, and then your 5 points will automatically transfer over to WebCampus. After you've read the chapter and completed the Learn Smart module, you'll also want to listen to the virtual lecture. This is a tool that I use to pull out what I think is most important about the chapter, and there's also a study guide that you can complete as you listen to the lecture. Those study guides are not required to be turned in. There's no points available for those, but I will say that they are the best way to prepare yourself for the exams by completing those study guides and noting the important facts that I pull out. And then finally, the other kind of assignment that you'll need to complete will be your discussion posts. These are another major source of points for the class, 10 points per week. The class has been divided up into 4 discussion groups of about 8 to 10 people, so it'll be easier to keep up with your classmates. You won't need to read discussion posts from the whole class. I've got some pretty specific guidelines in terms of what I'm looking for from your discussion posts, and I think you'll find over the course of the semester that I tend to be pretty specific about what I'm looking for. From my perspective, it means that I tend to get better work, and from your perspective, it means that you tend to do better in the class if you're able to follow those specific instructions. A really important thing to note about those discussion posts is that the main post is due by Wednesday at midnight. Canvas does not allow me to set 2 deadlines for one discussion forum, so it looks on Canvas like the whole assignment is due by Sunday at midnight. That is not true. Please be sure to have that main post submitted by Wednesday at midnight because there's 6 points. The bulk of your points for the discussion post are available there. That will include your post and a high quality reference that supports the facts that you're discussing. And then by Sunday at midnight, you'll also need to post 2 replies to group members. Again, please check the guidelines on WebCampus for these discussion posts and replies. I've got some specifics there that should help you to be successful. In terms of your assignments for this week, please make sure that you go through all of the items in the Week 1 folder on WebCampus. That's probably where you found this video, so it sounds like you're well on your way. You'll want to make sure that you get McGraw-Hill Connect set up and connected to WebCampus. That's the purpose of that Connect to Connect assignment. It's a very brief one. You just need to click yes when you get through there. Your points will transfer over, and we'll both be sure that your connection between the 2 platforms is made. Again, please make sure that you look at Canvas, the announcement settings, so that you're getting those in a place that's useful for you, and then get that introduction post done by Sunday at midnight. That's all I have for today. I really am looking forward to working with you this semester. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing your discussion post by the end of the week. Have a great day.